Okie dokie. Let me know whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
I think that's good. Talk for a second. Let me just make sure you're picking up on the.
Picking up on here. Am I good? Is it good? We're live?
Perfect. Yeah.
All right.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Barely Maintaining, the ultimate podcast for die-hard Chicago Bears fans. Join your host, Ryan Burheit, and me, Michael Guyton, as we dive into all things Bears. From game analysis and player insights to the latest news and fan stories, Ryan and I cover it all. You're cheering from Soldier Field or your living room, Barely Maintaining keeps you connected to your favorite team. Now, let's get ready. Bear down. Welcome, everyone, to episode 19, our November 13th edition of the episode. Today's segment, we got a lot to talk about. It's been a roller coaster ride this last week. After the loss to the Patriots, we have a couple pieces that got moved around within the regime, so we'll talk about that. Got player stat trivia, of course, much more to talk about moving forward. Where we're at, where we're headed, and what we got. We got finally our first division FC North game this week. That being said, Ryan, what do you got for us around the league today?
All right. So around the league here, let's see. Bears fire offensive coach Shane Waldron after that 3-point showing in the loss to the Pats. We all kind of saw that coming. I think me and you kind of talked about it last week. Of one of their jobs is on the line this week.
We had to go.
Yeah, and then Caleb Williams on offensive coordinator Shane Waldron firing. He was quoted, "I don't get to choose the decisions." I feel like that's just kind of what you have to say there. And then Bears cut veteran guard Nate Davis. This to me seemed out of left field, to be honest. I knew that we had talked about it, but I wasn't didn't realize we were just gonna cut him and cut losses completely.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, and it was like you said, it's kind of out of left field. He's just been on the bench, so yeah, we need that somebody.
Yeah,
very odd, especially since we don't have any depth at line.
Yeah, to another team that is in as much shambles as the Bears lately. Anthony Richardson named starter again for the rest of the season. Correct me if I'm wrong. 2 weeks ago, Joe Flacco was the starter for the rest of the season. So I'm very I feel like they're putting them and the Panthers are kind of a weird situation, I guess, with going back and forth with their quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think they're both trying to figure it out, but also similar to what we're doing. It's almost kind of a little bit of for confidence and all that. Anthony Richardson looks bad, though. I mean, he definitely just sit behind, and has Flacco looked that bad? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, they had some rough games, though. I feel like he went into the Vikings, which isn't an easy game. And then they had another one that was, I don't remember who it was last week. But I feel like it wasn't easy games that they were going into by any means.
That's my question. It's did he look? He didn't look as bad at the worst than Anthony Richardson. I guess they just think that ceiling is better, but because Anthony Richardson can throw it 70-yard bombs or whatever.
Yeah.
But he has had one,
and then runs.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's true, the mobile stuff, but
yeah.
But inaccuracy is too much to sacrifice for the running and the long pass that you get one every 5 games of. You know?
Yeah, I guess this is their chance to figure out who he is, so they can figure out the next steps.
It's true.
Yep.
It wasn't really his rookie year.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 5.
Yeah.
We're still evaluating, I guess.
Right. Let's see. We also got Broncos assistant head coach Mike Westhoff steps down to deal with potential health issues. Cornerback, oh man, Dion Madore Lenore agreed to a 5-year, $92 million extension with the Niners. I'm pretty sure I just butchered the hell out of that name, but we'll get that.
I mean, you did better than I would have done for sure. But obviously bolstering their quarterback room a little bit.
Yeah.
In the future.
Yeah, I mean, if they got confidence in him, Ward's on the other side, so. We got a pretty good cornerback room at that point. Let's see. Berlin launches. Oh, go ahead.
In their secondary?
Huh?
They have injuries in their secondary, or they just weird signing that that wasn't like covering Ayuk or an injury. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Berlin launches the official bid to host an NFL game starting in 2025. And then Dak Prescott to undergo season-ending surgery on injured hamstring. And then for division leaders, it's the Bills at 8-2 still. Lead the East in the AFC. Chiefs lead the West in the AFC. Steelers lead the AFC North. And Texans lead the AFC South. For the NFC, it's Eagles at 7-2. Cardinals at 6-4. Lions at 8-1. And Falcons at 6-4 to round out the North Division.
Things are starting to shake out a little bit as we head into the stretch here.
Yeah, the Chiefs. I mean, they just don't know how to lose at this point, right? Like,
and everyone kind of wants to talk crap about them, like, they're vulnerable. Yeah, but they know how to win games, and that's the difference. You know what I mean? So,
right.
I can't. It's hard for me to choose against the Chiefs at this point, as far as I picked them this week to win over the Broncos, and they barely did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do feel they do. I mean, they have championship pedigree. That's what it is right there. It's they don't look very good. Yeah, but they're winning, so who cares?
Right.
I mean, take that over what we got. We don't look good, and we're losing.
Right.
So,
it doesn't look good either way.
Right. I would rather have W's, especially since like with Chicago fans. We're 4-5 now, and the sky's falling. We were in much worse positions before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt like,
I think it's everybody's panicking because of the fact that we have such an appealing team. Years before, you're like, obviously this isn't going to go right because this is a gaping hole, or this isn't going to go right because it's a gaping hole. Whereas this year, it's like, okay. The offensive line has shown signs of being halfway decent. Obviously not. They still have a lot of way to go. But you have your wide receivers. You have the running back. You have the potential quarterback. You have the great defense. Obviously there's some holes that need to be shored up, like we're missing Billings and stuff for the middle runs. But overall, it seems like it's just the coaching. And it's hard to get past that. Like, the team gave up. It doesn't even feel like they're fighting for anything at this point. And we'll hopefully get to see them fight. Just the big issue was Shane Waldron, and hopefully the offense kind of clicks. I forget what his name was. Who stepped in? Do you know what the name was?
I want to say Thomas Brown or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's tell our listeners about the Happy Can real quick, and then we'll come back and talk about the new offensive coordinator and what we expect. Actually, we got to wrap up this last game, so we'll talk about that. But I am excited for something different at the very least. And again, we'll get into it here. But my question is, how do you look like that against the Jaguars and like this against the Patriots?
Right.
Not different of a team.
Right.
Anyway, let's talk about the Happy Can.
All right, Bears fans, before we dive back into the game talk, we've got to shout out today's sponsor, the Happy Can.
If you're looking for a refreshing way to unwind after a long day without the alcohol, but with all the chill vibes, the Happy Can is definitely where it's at.
Happy Can is a lab-tested, vegan-friendly, alcohol-free beverage that's infused with THC and CBD. If you're kicking back at home or catching up with friends, it's the perfect way to relax without the hangover.
Exactly. It's crafted for those who